The shootings have sent shockwaves across America's political landscape. The motive for the attacks remains unclear, but Arizona police blame a vitriolic political atmosphere as a factor in what happened.
And I am going to have materials for people when they leave. I want people in Minnesota armed and dangerous because we need to fight back. Thomas Jefferson told us having a revolution every now and then is a good thing. And we the people are going to have to fight back hard if we're not going to lose our country.
In the state of Kansas, there is a doctor, George Tiller, who will execute babies for $5,000. Dr. Tiller has blood on his hands.
Doesn't throw this message out for the people at the Tides Foundation. I'm coming for you. Oh, I'm coming for you. Oh, no, not a Glenn Beck making threats? No. Nope. I'm just going to reverse all the things that you have done. All the things that you have done. The tide is about to change.
In a jailhouse confession, a California man has admitted it was Fox News host Glenn Beck who inspired him to plot the assassination of employees of the ACLU and the Tides Foundation. Byron Williams made national headlines in July when he was arrested after he opened fire on California Highway Patrol officers. The shootout occurred as Williams was driving to the headquarters of the Tides Foundation, headquarters in San Francisco. Earlier today, the media watch group Media Matters released audio from a jailhouse interview in which Williams talks about Beck's influence.
I would have never started watching Fox News if it wasn't for the fact that Beck was on there. And it was the things that he did, it was the things he exposed that blew my mind. I said, well, nobody does this. Beck will never say anything about a conspiracy, will never advocate violence, he'll never do anything like of this nature. But he'll give you every ounce of evidence that you could possibly need. Look at all the stuff that you find. I would suggest you go back and try to find the videos of all the Jewish videos.
In the 18 months before the shooting, Beck used his Fox News show to attack the Tides Foundation 29 times, claiming the small foundation as part of a secret George Soros-funded plot to infiltrate and gain control of big businesses and to indoctrinate the youth of America. Even after the shooting, Beck has continued to threaten Tides. Fox's Glenn Beck.
An overwhelming portion of the intensely demonstrated animosity toward President Barack Obama is based on the fact that he is a black man, that he's African American. I live in the South, and I've seen the South come a long way, and I've seen the rest of the country that shared this South's attitude toward minority groups at that time, particularly African Americans. That racism inclination still exists, and I think it's bubbled up to the surface because of a belief among many white people, not just in the South but around the country, that African Americans are not qualified to lead this great country. It's an abominable circumstance and grieves me and concerns me very deeply.
I have concerns about some of the language that is being used because I saw this myself in the late 70s in San Francisco. This kind of rhetoric was very frightening, and it created a climate in which violence took place, and so I wish that we would all again curb our enthusiasm in some of the statements that are made, so understanding that some of the people, the ears that it is falling on are not.
Some fingers are pointing at the right, at this webpage last year from Sarah Palin, targeting Gabrielle Giffords over her support for the president's healthcare reform bill, a page which clearly worried the congresswoman.
The thing is that the way that she has it depicted has the crosshairs of a gun sight over our district. And when people do that, they've got to realize there's consequences to that action.
Are you disturbed when people bring guns to political rallies?
Well, you know,
At the political rallies I've been at, I haven't seen any of them. You carry a gun for safety, just like you do for any other thing. I was at a political rally in Arizona a few months ago. People open carry out there. I felt perfectly safe. I wasn't worried in the least.
No, they bring these guns to make a political statement. They've told us that on the air. They don't just bring it to protect themselves from hoodlums. They bring it to make a statement against the political people in this country they don't like. And they use it as a threat. They basically, we've got our Second Amendment privileges. Rights? Of course they're rights. But why would you bring it into a political discussion? That's all I'm asking. Do you think it'd be better off if people didn't bring guns to political events?
Now they're probably
well, we've had these guys on the show. They flaunt them. They have them in holsters. They stand there. They come on our show and defend them. I mean, it seems to be Sarah Palin using gunplay language. What is she talking about? Crosshairs and reloading, and Sharon Angle talking about Second Amendment remedies, and Bachmann out there with her kind of talk. I mean, it seems like the way people talk now has gotten more ballistic. It's gotten to do with guns when it has nothing to do with Second Amendment issues. I understand the right to bear arms. It's in our Constitution. It's protected in our Bill of Rights. I understand it, but people bring it up totally regardless of the topic. They bring up guns. Why?
When you look at unbalanced people, how they are, how they respond to the vitriol that comes out of certain mouths about tearing down the government, the anger, the hatred, the bigotry that goes on in this country is getting to be outrageous.
If you want to kill a baby, you hire Tiller. You got to pay him $5,000 up front, and he'll kill the baby. I wanted George Tiller and Tiller the baby killer going, hey, I can make more money killing babies now.
We are being told that we have to hope he succeeds, that we have to bend over, grab the ankles, bend over forward, backward, whichever, because his father was black, because this is the first black president. We've got to accept this.
This guy has a social justice. He is going to set all of the wrongs of the past right. Unbelievable.
Why?
That is why?
Yeah, why?
For a teaching lesson, some sort of a who needs to learn what here? I'm saying he has a problem. This guy is, I believe, a racist.
But you have an invitation to the Tea Party. And it's a lot bigger than any charismatic guy with a teleprompter.
Get the police! Get the police! Get the police! No, come on!
Don't we have an obligation, those of us in public life and those who cover us, to say this is beyond the bounds? It may be constitutionally permissible, but it shouldn't be acceptable rhetoric.
President Carter in Atlanta today, he went on to say that because of President Obama's personal qualities, he will be able to, quote, triumph over the racist attitude that is the basis for the negative environment that we see so vividly demonstrated in public affairs in recent days, end of quote.
Sarah Palin's supporters reject the implications. Familiar scenes from the streets of America, but not for more than 30 years has a serving member of Congress been gunned down. The nation is appalled, and what everyone wants to know is why did he do it? Throughout Washington, marks of respect for the victims. This already feels like more than just the latest in a long line of tragedies.
The BBC's Paul Adams there, and President Obama has asked Americans to pay their respects with a minute's silence tomorrow.